Right, and it's time for your health, and today our focus is squarely on skin health and specifically eczema. That is a condition that is related to allergies and of course basically affects a lot of babies, but of course some people suffer it even in their adulthood. So joining the conversation is Dorothy Muchere, who's an eczema survivor and who will be telling us her story about that, as well as Rachel Ogola, who's the founder of Eczema Society of Kenya. So welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to start with you, Rachel Ogola. Tell us what eczema is and what motivation there is behind having an eczema society in the country.
Thank you. Eczema is a condition that manifests itself on the skin in form of rashes, itchy, reddish rashes that appear like lesions on your skin. And they can be very dry and flaky.
Okay.
Yes.
And why is it such a big deal? Is it the discomfort? Is it the lack of a treatment? What makes eczema one of those conditions that are really unfortunate to have, especially with the lack of knowledge on how to handle it?
Yeah, thank you. Eczema is the treatment. There is the treatment, but again, the treatment alone is not enough. There are certain things that trigger eczema.
Right.
There are certain factors that trigger eczema, and then there's the management of eczema. So the treatment alone is not enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So issue here is the doctors are treating us, but they're not telling us much about the management and what is triggering it. So it is up to you to know your trigger. It is up to you to know how to manage the condition.
And the triggers vary from person to person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'd like to come over to you, Rachel Ogola. You have suffered eczema, and you are better placed to tell us more about the condition. So could you first tell us when you were diagnosed with eczema?
My parents tell me that I developed eczema when I was about 1 month old.
Right.
Yes, and it was challenging for them to discover what exactly it was.
Yes.
Because, you know, in eczema, what really happens, normally every human being has agents called histamines in their body.
Yes.
So people who experience allergic reactions such as eczema, the histamines misinterpret the common agents that their bodies get in touch with every single day. So in the process of that misinterpretation, that is when you get eczema. So it really took a while for my parents to discover that it was eczema that was. Yes.
Yeah, so basically what you're explaining is that there might be something in the air that you're allergic to, and then, or in what you're eating, or something that touches your skin, and then the antihistamines overreact.
Histamines.
The histamines overreact to the agent, and therefore they are attacking your skin. Is this how?
Yes. That reaction attacks the skin.
So the reaction is basically histamines in the body meant to protect you or attacking your skin, as if it is something that is harmful to you. And therefore that's why we have antihistamines that are supposed to help alleviate that sort of reaction. So it took a while for them to discover that you are having this problem. So where was it manifesting on your body? Because I'm told for infants, maybe the face, inside the elbows. Where did it manifest for you?
As an infant, I had eczema on the whole body.
Wow.
Yes, it was on the whole body. And fortunately, I have been outgrowing it over the years. Yes.
Yeah, and this is actually something that happens commonly. Most children outgrow it, but not everyone, which brings me to the issue you're talking about managing it. There's medicines, but then there's the need to manage it, and I'd like you to tell us more about how one needs to manage the condition, because I'd imagine it's not a comfortable one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't answer all your part of the question you asked first. The reason behind the formation of the foundation.
Right.
First of all, I had a son. I have a son. My firstborn was born with eczema. At 4 weeks, he developed eczema. So it is the frustration that I went through during his treatment that I sought to have a foundation where we can share ideas and also help each other on management. Yes.
Share information. As a community.
Yes. Because I saw a gap between the treatment and then what next? You know, I'm seeking treatment, I'm going to hospital, I'm given steroids. Most of the medication for eczema is just steroids, you know, and then the antihistamines, which you take. So these steroids, at some point I went to the pharmacy And then the pharmacist asked me, how old is this boy? How old is this child? Because the amount of steroid, the content of steroid is too high. Yes.
Skin.
So it's at that point that I had there were so many red flags.
Yes.
So I sought to understand why. Is it that every week I'm going for review, on the treatment, but it's not going away?
Okay.
Reason? Because there are things I'm not managing. I'm giving this child foods that he's allergic to.
Yes.
I'm dressing him in clothing that he's allergic to. Is reacting to
Yes.
his clothing needs to be cotton. A toddler's clothing must be cotton.
Yes.
And only the eczema, it just has to be soft, cotton, soft and everything, And then most of the detergents you're washing our clothes with, some of them are very harsh. Some of them the smell is too much. Yes, and then moisturize your skin all the time.
Right.
All the time, your skin must be moisturized. Yeah, and then also the environment. Sometimes there's too much pollen in the environment.
Yes.
You expose yourself to too much sunlight. Even the sunlight is also a trigger.
Right.
Yeah, and then now the foods, you start narrowing down on which food you're giving your child.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need to be very observant.
You have to be very observant. You have to put it down on paper, and then you have an elimination scheme where you're checking. If I give fish, what happens? When I'm giving too much meat, when I'm giving too much nuts, like us when we did an allergy test, you were seen to be having an allergic reaction to nuts.
Okay.
But it's not only nuts that is affecting him. Even citrus fruits, yes.
And these are things that you've been taught are good for your child. So you might be feeding your child all these things, hoping to make them stronger, even maybe increasing them because you might think it might help them fight off the condition, but then it's making them worse. Now, back to you. How did you then get from, take me through the treatment process that you underwent throughout your life, and of course, how you have you shifted your life and the foods you take to ensure that you are managing the condition like she did with her son?
Okay. Growing up, my parents used to be very keen. So once they discovered that it was eczema when I was still very young, they started taking care of exactly what I was eating, my clothes, my environment. So during my preteen years, I used to ask them a lot of questions, like why was I different from my siblings who don't have eczema? So that helped me understand and accept it from their explanations. And they were very keen on telling me that it is hereditary and it is not contagious, and I just happened to have the gene.
Yes.
So when I turned about 15 years old, the doctor who had been seeing me all along just inspired me to want to learn more about eczema.
Okay.
So during each and every visit, I used to go to him and I ask him questions. Yes, and I've been learning, and now I realize there are different kinds of eczema.
Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me specifically for your case, is it the food, is it stress? What exactly are you avoiding to ensure that you don't have flare-ups?
Okay. For my management, I have a management routine.
Okay.
So first of all, at home, I have to make sure that the environment is clean. That is to deal with contact eczema, so that I avoid contact eczema. Although contact eczema is a bit challenging because the moment you get out of the house, you're not assured of
you cannot control the environment.
Yes.
Yes.
Then for my foods, I discovered that two kinds of eczemas are triggered from foods. So there is atopic eczema, which is the most common kind, and that one is triggered by mostly proteins.
Please explain why it's called atopic eczema.
Okay. It's called atopic eczema because it appears on the skin. I believe so. I need to do more research on that.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's the reason why they explain it's atopic is because of the way the skin is manifested.
All right.
Yes. Then there's also another kind of eczema called seborrheic dermatitis. This one usually is gotten by kids, very little children. They have it on their scalp, on specific areas of the hands and the chest. Yes, that one is caused by wheat products and stress.
All right.
And I'm still studying, I'm still trying to discover what else causes it. There is another kind called dihydrotic or pompholyx eczema.
Okay.
That one specifically comes on the hands. So you get, if people wash with certain detergents.
Basically what you touch.
Yes, what you touch, even money. Some of us are allergic to money.
Yeah, because it's filthy. Let's just tell the truth.
It's filthy. Even the new notes, there's just something about them.
There's nothing new about them. Yeah, money is dirty. It changes hands, and you know how that works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even jewelry. Yes.
Okay, so you've mentioned something that had made me curious about the Because a lot of times with conditions, various conditions, a lack of knowledge can lead to society reacting to certain conditions in a certain way. Have you faced discrimination because of people thinking they can catch eczema from you?
Yes. Normally when I meet people for the first time and I happened to have had a flare-up,
Yeah.
yes, they'll be a bit surprised and they wonder why my skin looks the way it does. Yes, so but with time, like in the past, over my school years, I've been able to explain to my friends, and most of them understand. I even have some who become more careful and concerned whenever the skin flares up. Yeah, so there is social stigma in the society, and the reason why it's there, it's because people don't understand that eczema is not contagious. It's a hereditary condition, and even amongst siblings, there's no way the sibling who has it can pass it on to the fellow siblings or his or her classmates. Yes.
Now, I'd like to know, how are you working towards getting rid of social stigma or handling it amongst the community of people who know it and, of course, outside? Because amongst one another, you would know that this is not contagious, but obviously outside, it needs to be a fact that is well known.
I know stigma is a major concern for people with eczema, especially our members. Even when we told them we were coming to studio today, they told us, please just address stigma.
Yes.
Stigma is a problem. So we're trying to create awareness. We had a walk the other day on Saturday, on the World Atopic Day. We tried to give people pamphlets. We try to come to the media to let people know, and also we are trying to engage the government to incorporate health education in schools. Eczema as part of health education or health clubs in schools. We're trying to see how we can engage the government to also incorporate health eczema as a health, as just a major health education for health workers. Yeah, especially in the rural areas, but just everywhere at the grassroots.
Absolutely.
Yes, because it's a major issue. And also just creating awareness, writing through our Twitter handle, through our Facebook, through publishings, you know.
Yes. And spreading the word of what it is so that people know that it's not something you can catch just like by contact. Now, speaking of rural areas, we do know that when eczema gets too bad and exposed to bacteria, it could actually fester and turn into an infection. And with kids, this is a major concern. So how are you working perhaps with your son to ensure, how have you worked with your son to ensure that he is in a state that it does not flare up and then catch infections? And how do you help people understand how to handle eczema to the point that it's not turning into something else that is festering?
Yes, first of all, by making sure you have short fingernails. If you're a caregiver or a mom who's taking care of a toddler or a child who has eczema, just make sure their nails are kept short throughout. Because there's a situation where because of the scratching, they will injure their skin and also injure their nails. You will find most toddlers with eczema have blisters or they have no nails at all.
Because they're itching.
Yeah, because they're itchy, then they develop bacteria and then the nails come out.
Oh my goodness.
Infections. So we make sure we ensure that, and then also just ensuring cleanliness and you know, you can, if you're not able to bathe or shower, you can just do dry patting with towel to ensure that the skin is always clean, and then moisturizing all the time. Moisturizing, and then if it's really bad, also just seek medical help. Don't stay at home. Don't do miti shamba. Just go, just get an expert, a skin expert to help you. And
aside from the medicines that you give and a change in diet, what are any other holistic approaches that one can take to ensure that they manage the symptoms of eczema?
So there's the of course, seek help first from the hospital. Know that you have eczema. It's not all conditions that are eczema, because people will assume anything is eczema. It's not all conditions that are eczema. And then get the right moisturizer for yourself. Have your own management system where you know your triggers. You must know your triggers. What works for me does not work for someone else. If Dorothy is using something, it does not necessarily have to work for me. So you must learn to know your triggers. If you're a caregiver, know the triggers for your toddlers.
And you, are there any other holistic ways that you have used to make sure that you do not get flare-ups?
Yes, I'd like to advise fellow eczema warriors. You need to learn how to make homemade juice. Like you use the normal vegetable and fruits to make the juice so that it cleanses your system, particularly of those steroid medications.
Okay.
Yes. Some of those concoctions are actually disgusting, but they work. They cleanse your system.
Okay. Why are we working hard to get rid of these steroids from our systems?
Because I understand that when you apply on the skin, it goes to your body organs like the liver, the kidneys, and normally the problem is not those organs. So it's just those organs that are being polluted.
So eczema is not causing things to go wrong, but it might be the medication that you're using. And you did mention that about steroids. So after your son, you realized that the medication was too much for your young kid. How did the changes you incorporated help in actually making sure that you use less of the steroids?
Yeah. So first of all, the steroids, okay, they help in their own way, but and even withdrawal, there are withdrawal symptoms.
Oh, really?
When you're withdrawing from the steroids, it's just like it's just like a drug, you know. Yeah, your body is just messed up again.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a process. Yeah, but we tried as much as possible to just find a way of managing without the steroids.
Okay.
Or if we really need the steroids, we will, because I already know what percentage, you know. Yeah, I'm looking at the percentage. I know there's this small percentage that will work for us at this point when the flare-up is very high.
Yes.
Yeah, but mostly we have identified the moisturizing cream that works for us, and also our diets. We've identified the diet that works for us, so that's how and the dressing, and so we at least now we're at a place where we know what works and what doesn't work. But for steroids, we let it be a bit. We just let it go a bit. Yeah. We realized that we can do without it for some time because his skin had started really becoming very pale.
Okay.
Yeah, he started turning very pale, and then he had non-stop stomachache.
Okay.
He was always complaining of stomachache at that point when we were using steroids. So we thought, hey, maybe there's something happening in his stomach. I don't know. Maybe his kidney was reacting or something because he was just exposed to too much steroid.
So after you dropped it or reduced it, then you saw a major change in
Yes, his skin is now, you can tell he has skin now, you know, you can even see the hairs growing. Yeah. Otherwise his skin was just pale, whitish, and just, you know, like, skin that is just pale.
It wasn't looking alive.
Yes.
Now, I'm trying to figure out, we need information about this, and of course that must be a goal, one of the goals of your society. Of course, people can go online and learn more about eczema, but how are you spreading information? Do you have clubs? Can we find you on social media? How can we interact with the society to ensure that we get information about eczema?
Yes. Okay. We first of all, we're on Twitter at Eczema Kenya, Eczema capital E, then Eczema Society Kenya, K capital E, capital K capital E. Then you're on Facebook, Eczema Society of Kenya. Then we try to engage people on that, and also we have meetups where we try to meet once in a while to discuss this, eczema and how to deal with it and everything. But the challenge we've had also, people with eczema, and that's why we are trying to, as much as possible to create awareness. People are still hiding. People are not coming out. People are not coming out. People inboxing me saying, people inbox me instead of discussing. We have a page which is very private. Yeah, because I have to add you. Yeah, so people will inbox instead, rather than post and give their concerns. Because they don't want to be seen posting. We'll call people for meetings, they don't want to show up. Why? People are scared. There are men who are in the group because their wives or their girlfriends are suffering from eczema, but there's the issue of low self-esteem also. So they'll rather let my man be, because he's more courageous, let him see what's happening there. But me, I'm still scared, you know.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because
which is very unfortunate.
If you don't bring it out into the open, then you won't be able to deal with it as it is. Now, what would your advice be for people who are out there and feeling scared of exposing themselves because it's not their fault anyway. So what would your advice be, particularly for mothers who are having infants who might be suffering from eczema?
First of all, it's not an easy route. You have to be patient. Patience. Even for your caregivers, just don't give up. talk to people. When you talk to people, it is at that point that you will get help.
Okay.
You will understand how they manage the condition.
Yes.
Yes. And also seek help. Seek help at the hospitals. Talk to medics. Join our group. We are here for you. We are here with you. We are here to walk the journey with you.
Yes.
Don't be scared. Attend our meetings. We'll share with you. And then, you know, it's a journey. It's a journey, and it requires a lot of patience, because I know people have gotten into depression.
Yeah.
People have even committed suicide because of eczema. There's a lady who wore hijab for a very long time because she was hiding.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
also members of the public.
Not good for you.
Yes, it's not good. Also members of the public, eczema is not a contagious condition. It's just a normal. I mean, it's a normal illness that someone is born with.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that they're having a flare up. It's not their fault that people have rashes once in a while. So support them. When you support, even mothers, support your children, because if you leave them, they'll suffer anxiety.
Yes.
Eczema brings sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Eczema causes, what is this? You know, your social isolation. You don't want to go out there. People will see you.
Yeah.
People will notice, realize that you don't eat this. You don't want people to know that you're itching. Sometimes, you know, the itchiness becomes too much. Yeah? So it also causes your life to be a bit sometimes at a standstill, because you can't work, you can't do normal duties when you're really down.
Yeah,
yes.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So psychologically also it
support, yes, psychologically support. Even physically, you know, sometimes when you're healed, it leaves marks on your body. Support people. Don't stare too much. Just know that, I mean, you know, because I have a situation where at some point, and I shared this some time back, my son went into the swimming pool. At that point, he had very serious flare-up, very serious flare-up. So it was a very big hotel. Actually, it was a tourist hotel. Then he jumped into the pool. Actually, before he jumped, he was in his swimming costume.
Right.
And guys were like, really, he wants to
going
jump
on?
like this,
Yeah.
the way he looks, because his skin was really flaky.
Yes.
So when he jumped in the pool, the parents
out.
just picked out their kids.
Yeah, it's ignorance, and which is
so you also need to develop thick skin as an individual who has eczema, and also as parents with kids with eczema. Yeah, because you have to be strong. If you're not strong, you will give up. Yeah. And when you give up, you've given up, you know.
And basically the kid is picking the cues from you. So if you've given up, then they definitely are going to give up on you. Now, could you explain how severe or how painful or how irritating the symptoms could be for maybe a parent who is there with a kid who has eczema, but they don't necessarily understand the level of discomfort that child is? Because if you're hiding, then you're delaying the period, you'll be delaying the time in which you can actually get help for your kid, and they'll continue experiencing those kinds of pains.
Okay. To those people who have a normal skin, you don't have eczema. This is what eczema is like. So when you see somebody scratching, they're actually distorting the skin barrier.
Yes.
So already the skin becomes open. So the skin is open, and for you who has a normal skin, imagine having many cuts on your skin. So basically the skin is just open, and it's sore, very sore. Yes, and for people with eczema, you'll also see water coming out of the skin.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel dehydrated because of losing that water.
Okay.
Yes, and then eczema not only affects you physically, you become emotionally exhausted because of the
you keep worrying about,
yes, because of the way you keep scratching, and it's exhausting. You become exhausted. It affects you psychologically, the way you've just discussed. Yes, and then there's also that social stigma. So you not only need support for helping the skin to heal, but also a lot of encouragement.
From family and friends. So anything else you'd like to add as we conclude?
I'd like to encourage my fellow eczema warriors to try and identify the kinds of eczemas that they have as they relate that to their triggers. Yes.
All right. And for you, anything you'd like to add, and maybe events that you're planning for your society?
Yeah, I would like to say that we're going to continue creating awareness, because we've seen that it's actually really bad out there. Yeah, people with eczema are really stigmatized. We are going to create more awareness. We want to engage the government some more on helping us create awareness and also just help incorporate these systems, the eczema awareness into their health programs and also in school through the Ministry of Education. And also, I need to also ask the government to, I'm told people have concerns that some insurance companies are limiting the amount of what is it? The creams,
Yeah.
The creams, some of the creams are not covered.
Okay.
The moisturizing creams. The moisturizing creams are very, very expensive. Yeah, so some of those creams are not covered. If they can cover that on NHIF, specifically just for eczema, it would be a very good starting point. People cannot, I mean, the cheapest cream can be like, is like, I think 750. Yes, so these creams are very expensive. Make these creams available. Through our program also, we're trying to look at how we can, we'll have a system where we have cards for our members. So if you walk into a health center, you're able to get a cream at a subsidized rate.
Okay.
Yes, because that's a major, major concern.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for coming and sharing us your story with us, our stories. And of course, I'm hoping that somebody out there is helped in terms of dealing with eczema. That has been Dorothy Mushere, who's an eczema survivor, as well as Rachel Ogwale, who's the founder, Eczema Society of Kenya. That has been Your Health. We've been talking about eczema. If you just missed it, you can get it online and learn more about the condition. But for now, we're taking a short break. When we come back, international.